Hello, this is Mr. Dalia, and you are looking at a grade sheet for 6th grade language arts. Along the top are listed the 10 language arts skills we want the students to tackle this semester. There's 3 reading, 4 writing, and 3 that fall in either category. On the left side here are the assignments the students may encounter. And you may notice a couple things. One is that the student receives a grade in 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a PowerPoint explaining what each of these mean, but quickly, 1 means that the student can't do what was taught. A 2 means the student can do the easy parts, but not the more difficult parts. A 3 means that the student is doing exactly what we've asked them to do. They're proficient. And a 4 here, that means that they're advanced. They're going beyond what was taught. Again, take a look at the PowerPoint, and it will be much more helpful for you than that explanation. The first assignment was letter to self, and the second thing you probably notice is that a student can receive more than 1 grade per assignment. In this case, the student received 4 grades. The first grade was for organization and progression, and as you can see, the student did not do well in that skill. They're still trying to learn that skill. Without help, they could not do it. They did better in idea development and word choice, although we're not where we want them to be. But in use of language, which has to do with conventions and other skills, they did pretty well in. They did exactly what we've asked them to do. This is more helpful than getting a percentage grade because the student can see what they did well in, what they need to work on. The good news is that this is not the last grade that the student will receive in organization and progression. Later on, the students did a book card. And in doing the book card, the student did much better in organization and progression. In fact, they received a 3, exactly what they were supposed to do. So a lot of times, teachers will take the 1 and the 3 and will average it to make a grade of 2. That's not the way we do it. In language arts, we want to look at where the student is at the end of the grading period. And so here, the student got a 3 in a book card. For the same skill, persuasion article, for organization and progression, they got another 3. So we're starting to see a clearer picture that this student is actually learning this skill of organization and progression and is actually doing well in it. And then towards the end of the year, the student actually received a 4. They were going beyond what was taught in their memoir. So at the beginning of the year, the student could not do this skill without help, and now at the end of the year, they could probably teach others. And that's really what we want the student to do. We want them to grow throughout the year so that by the end they have 3s and 4s and are done with 1s and 2s. Let's look at another skill of reading. Literary analysis. They read a story called Principles, and they were to analyze the plot. At first, the student received a 2. Their second chance, a 2. Now in literary analysis, as they moved on, they received, oh, sorry, that was bank plot, a 2. And then here for character analysis, they received a 3. And then later on, when they're analyzing theme or point of view, they received 4s. So you could see the student got a score that was progressively better. And so the way that we score, if we don't average it, what do? The answer is that we take the mode or the most frequent occurring score. Okay, so this student got a 2, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 4. Well, as you can see, they got 2 4s and 2 2s. So which one do we take? We take the one that happened the most recently. It's the most frequently occurring score, and it's the one that happened most recently. I could see that the student went from being a 2 student to actually getting to advanced 4. And so that's their final grade in literary analysis. As we talked about organization and progression earlier, the student received a 1, then a 3, then a 3, then a 4. Even though the student got a 4 at the end and they were headed that way, probably headed toward being an advanced student in that area, really the most clearest snapshot of their skill level in organization and progression is a 3. So they received a 3. Now this student can come up to me and say, Mr. Dalia, I want to prove that I really am a 4 in this area of organization and progression. Can I have another written assignment? I would say certainly you can. And they can prove to me that they're really an advanced student and received and receive a 4 in their grade in each skill. One more skill. We're going to take presentation. Presentation, student did terribly the first time. Now this would devastate a student, except for the fact that they'll have more chances to do presentation. We're pretty scared of doing presentations as human beings, and so the first time I don't expect students to do well. The second time the student received a 2, they started to understand, they started to get it, and by the end of the semester or year, they were receiving 3s for presentation. So they did very well. And so they ended up with a 3 because this is the mode, or what we call the most frequently occurring score. It is only then that we decide to average these scores to get their final assignment. So we would add all of these here up. 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, which I believe is 17, 20, 23, 26, 30, 33 divided by 10. The student would have an average of a 3.3, which comes up to a 93%. And that is how we do grades in 6th grade language arts.